A lot of excitement from the crowd ahead of this one, and why not? Two modern greats, two all-time greats, Judd and Mark Selby, as the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters get underway. Best of 11, the winner plays the winner of the match on table 2, Zhao Guodong or Ali Carter. The head-to-head favours Trump by 10 wins to 6. Two of Selby's wins, though, have come in the Shanghai Masters, including in this very round 2 years ago, 6-1 in the quarterfinals. But when these great players play, we just expect it to be entertaining, high quality. I'm sure it will be. Mark Selby has a go at that long red. Dominic Dale was the first winner of the Shanghai Masters in 2007. And, well, you must be looking forward to this one, Dom.
Yes, good morning, Dave. Very good morning, everybody. I am looking forward to this, as you say, Dave. Two of the all-time greats. Less than 54 ranking event titles between them. Judd Trump here has won 30 to Mark Selby's 24. Glittering careers both these players have had, and I'm sure we'll still have. They've still got plenty of time left. Judd Trump, 35 years old. Mark Selby, still only 42. Judd Trump, no longer a UK-based player, lives these days in the Middle East. And I always think that's a bit tricky sometimes when you disassociate yourself with the main body of the professional tour and you're coming back to the UK a lot of the times for tournaments. I've done that myself, and it's you sort of alienate yourself a little bit. It can be a problem, but I was very impressed with Mark Selby in beating Shaun Murphy. In fact, Shaun Murphy only scored 52 points in the entirety of the match. But it's a new day, quarterfinals. Table conditions will probably differ from day to day a little bit, so both of these players having to reaccustom themselves to the way that the table's playing. But it's Judd Trump here with the first really good opportunity.
Yeah, we've had 3 missed pots already, but I suspect he'll be knocking this one in. He says it's his favourite place to play in China, Shanghai. And he's won in various parts of China.
1.
The red that Judd would love to get onto would be the one just above the black. But it's not going to be easy to get onto from the green. He'd have to flirt with the right-hand middle pocket in order to create the angle necessary to play for that red that I've suggested. Don't think he can get through to the red. It wasn't easy to get onto it the way he wanted to get onto it, which was straight so he could run through for the black, and he's just misjudged it by an inch or so.
You could see the sort of frustration as he walked round. Oh, giving 7 points away.
Judd Trump 4.
Free ball, maybe?
Mark Selby 7. Free ball.
Yep.
That could make a big difference because the brown is very potable.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed innocuous in a way, didn't it? But as you say, the free ball changes things.
1.
Mark Selby was very much on the front foot against Murphy. You know, these players, they get sort of categorised as certain things, but the top players are all really good all-round players. Trump himself has a brilliant tactical game.
6.
And Mark Selby can be a very heavy scorer. 73 centuries last season. The most he's ever had in a single campaign. And he lost first round at the Crucible. You know, he could have had many more there.
7.
Of course, he won the British Open, he won the Welsh Open, he won the Championship League, he was runner-up in the Tour Championship, so it was a really good season, despite that disappointment in Sheffield. I did the whole match with Ben Wollaston, who was very strong, but I think Selby did go into his shell at times. So it's noticeable as the new season starts, he's sort of playing the opposite way.
15.
Played it nicely, but he was hoping that the red at the back of the pack that he just cannoned into there, he would actually come past and be on, but unfortunately he's cannoned it. It won't pass the black now, so I can't see anything that will pot, unless there's something that pots into the centre pocket. No. Well, both players have had an opportunity.
Judd Trump.
Not quite made the most of them, but there's a long way to go. Still a useful start this in the first frame from Mark Selby, 25-point advantage. Don't know what's going on here. Maybe an issue with the scoring.
May have been a mistake made. Potentially, maybe the 7 points weren't put on or something. We're not being shown it, whatever it is, but there's a slight delay. It's a big day. I mean, later on, Ding Junhui, Zhao Xingtong, you could argue the biggest match ever played in China, considering the context. Ronnie O'Sullivan, Karen Wilson, of course, tasty in its own way.
Yeah, just to mention this scoring system, it's very complicated actually, and the referees have or the markers have these sort of, what they call them, zappers, button control, and you have to actually put in that it's a free ball, for instance, because it has, otherwise it makes a difference to the number of reds on the table and things like that. You have to actually specifically designate a free ball situation on your scoring system, and if you don't, it can cause problems.
Well, they're still working out how many points should be on the scoreboard. I mean, it seems to have taken longer than it should have done, but anyway, we're ready to continue.
Judd will be disappointed that he's cannoned the black towards the top cushion. Even when you're just 25 points in arrears, you still want the big colours in possible positions, so that if you get a chance you can score heavily. It's not going to be easy from here, even though the reds are nicely spread. Chance of a long red here for Mark Selby, but it wouldn't be without risk. Has he spotted a plant to the right corner?
There's nothing Selby doesn't spot on the table. He's aware of everything, just didn't land on a colour, so you know he's got all the patience in the world. It's an interesting matchup, isn't it? Because it's not a rivalry that's really spoken of, Trump-Selby. They've only played in that one ranking final, the China Open, which of course Trump won. But prior to that, in 2009, he did beat Mark Selby in the Championship League final. That was his first victory in a tournament full of other top players. Of course, he was trying to become a top player at the time. It was a sign to them that, you know, there was a new young player who was going to be a threat. He was only 19 at the time. So that was a significant win, even though it's kind of maybe been forgotten about in the fullness of time. Oh, what a pot that is. Brilliant. was nailed to that cushion, but it didn't make any difference.
Judd is studying very carefully the two reds next to the pink to see if there's a chance that they may be set for a plant. Because that's important from Judd's point of view, because if he could make those two reds into plants, it would help to free the pink up. Because as I say, he's tied up the black with a previous safety shot. And although the reds are pretty well spread, it's not necessarily a good scoring chance unless he can bring one of the high-value colours into play. You can see the red, the left one of the two next to the pink. It doesn't appear to pot into this left corner.
Four.
Certainly wasn't sure, but I am now that the pink is potable, so that makes a difference. This will really help Judd, and all of a sudden now this is a good chance.
Yes, I mean, as much as his all-round game is solid, which it is, scoring game, of course, is his best game. And against someone like Selby, who can tie you up in knots, that's the game he'll be looking to play. Made 10 centuries here last year. That's a record in Shanghai for a single year. And of course, already 3 in the first match against Neil Robertson.
11.
The key frame there, though, was when he made a great clearance from behind. And again, that's in the armoury also.
Completely misjudged the pace of the cue ball there off the top cushion. Was wanting
16.
to be on the leftmost red of the two next to the pink, and then he could have just stunned the cue ball for the pink in the opposite corner. So this is what happens with professional snooker players. You always think 3 or 4 shots ahead, but the chances of you actually executing every positional shot perfectly is fairly slim. Quite often you fall out of position, as Judd did there, and you have to rethink everything. But unfortunately, from his point of view, he's missed a red that I expected him to get, and Mark Selby now has been gifted a chance to win this first frame from here.
One.
Yeah, we've had changeable weather in Shanghai. We had typhoon yesterday. It's much better today, and I guess the table, you know, is playing differently from day to day. So here in frame 1, both players just trying to work out how it is playing. Good chance though for Selby to win this opening frame. And it would mean, of course, he still hasn't lost a frame this year. This was the miss,
6.
but it was the previous shot really that sort of bamboozled Trump a little.
7.
Mark Selby, world number 7 as the season begins, but nobody really thinks about rankings with these great players. We all know what they're capable of.
Yeah, one of quite a few players that have been world number 1, and he had that fantastic spell in about 2015 where he held the top spot for a number of years, 3 or 4 years in a row.
14.
Yeah, that was amazing, actually. And it wasn't just because he was winning world titles. He was winning a lot of other big tournaments, quite a few here in China. You know, the International Championship, the China Open, won the UK Championship as well. So he was very much the worthy world number 1, as Trump is now.
Twenty. One.
I had a very interesting conversation with Stephen Hendry about Mark Selby, and we both actually agreed that when Mark Selby's at his best, he's the most difficult player there is on the tour to beat. Because we used to liken Novak Djokovic in tennis in those sort of terms. When he's at his best, we always thought, I'm no tennis player or commentator,
27.
but I always thought that when Novak was at his best, he was probably the most difficult tennis player to beat. And Mark Selby in snooker terms, I always thought was the same.
28.
But he's 42 years old now, Mark Selby. It's not easy to turn in those sparkling performances that we've seen from him in recent years.
Well, just needs to get on this red on the right-hand side. And Trump will need a snooker if he pots it. The thing is, there are enough tournaments now, you know, you can have a really good season even if you're losing early in a few of them. Mark Selby won 2 titles, ranking titles last season, plus the Championship League. I mean, that's got to count as a good season.
35.
So 7 frames played this year in Shanghai. 7 frames won for Mark Selby.
$41. 42. $47.
So Trump's miss when he was in was significant, opened the door. Mark Selby has done the rest. So off and running on quarterfinals day here at the Shanghai Masters, and it is the 4 times world champion Mark Selby who leads here 1-0. Leads Judd Trump 1-0. Best of 11, so first to 6 to reach the semi-finals, which of course are best of 19, so they'll be played over 2 days. And the winner of this match plays Zhao Gudong or Ali Carter. Zhao Gudong's won the first frame there on table 2. There were a few mistakes in the opening frame, but this is a big match in a big tournament between 2 big hitters. I'm sure things will settle down.
Well, there's a chance here to cut this red in for Judd, but if he misses it on the thick side, the cue ball would probably cannon the black, so be mindful of that possibility. So he's missed it on the thin side, and that's okay. He's got a good cue ball here. Mark Selby just having a look to see if the red closer to the black will pot to the left corner. If it doesn't, he may well take this red on to run through for the black. Well, there's a chance here that Judd could double this red into the right centre and hold for the black. It's something that may be worth a consideration.
Selby won the Shanghai Masters as a ranking event in 2011. There was a rather controversial end to that with the sort of hit and hope out of a snooker. It wasn't quite clear what ball he'd hit. He was 9-7 down to Mark Williams at the time, but won 10-9. Last year he got to the semis here. He led 6-2 actually against Sean Murphy, lost 10-8. Trump is well aware, of course, from long experience of playing Selby, that it feels like sort of every moment of the match He's sort of under it a little bit. Because there's never any let-up from Mark Selby in terms of his application.
Judd used the red there that was near the side cushion to open the pack up, and he has done, but he hasn't got the best cue ball. There's a definite chance of a pot here for Mark Selby into the left corner, but the red that's just to the right of the black is something he'll be keen to avoid if he wants to get a good cue ball. He's actually going to take this red on, is he? Well, this is a sign of a confident Mark Selby. Oh, what a great pot. Is he on the black? He is. And just look at the red that he'd left there for Judd Trump had that long red not found its target. I don't think Mark Selby expected the cue ball to come far across the table the way it did. Oh, this is a great start from Mark Selby. He's right in here now.
8. 9.
He's only 3 centuries away from 900 for his career, so that just tells you, you know, when he's described as the grinder and all that, he can do that, but he can also score really heavily. He can basically do everything. That's why he's been so successful.
$16. 17.
You'll notice with Mark Selby, he gets a lot of reaction out the cue ball. It has a very small tip size. It's barely 9mm in diameter. That's quite small. You'll notice with this shot as well how easily he gets a lot of action out the cue ball. He's had a lot of work done on his cue over the years. The butt of his cue is much, much longer than the standard length.
24.
Had it lengthened and bits taken off the top, new ferrules put on. But length of the cue has been extended over the years. He's had this cue now for a long, long time, over 20 years.
Selby 24.
Well, he was looking confident, but was broken down. So, can Trump now settle into this match? He had a couple of chances in the first frame that went begging.
1.
That positional shot didn't look a lot, but believe me, it was beautifully judged. And it's important here that Judd does something with this opportunity.
9.
You don't settle down until you can win that first frame, and Judd could do with winning this one. He doesn't want to fall 2-0 behind against somebody like Mark Selby.
Well, that was the miss from Selby that has given Trump this opening.
$16.
Of course, this was the first tournament he played in last season as well. He won it. He won the Saudi Arabia Masters, the big new ranking event, and also, of course, the UK Championship, and he lost in 3 finals as well to Karen Wilson.
17.
Earned record prize money, 1.68 million. Made a record number of centuries, 107. So I'm sure he was disappointed not to win the World Championship. Of course, lost to Mark Williams in the semis, but it was a very, very successful year again for Trump.
22. 23.
He's played for the pink, and I think its spot is occupied, so the pink would have to go on the green spot. I think that's the only other spot available. But when the reds are split open the way they are, it's no problem at all for Judd.
29.
Still got the blue and the black to focus on.
30.
You can see the middle red of that little group of 4 above the black is available into the left corner. Has Judd come far enough for it? I think he's okay.
37. 38. 45. 46. 51.
Now looking likely to be a frame-winning break, and the other significance, of course, is how it began. It began with the Mark Selby miss.
$59.
The 2 reds nearest the left-hand side cushion are not easy reds to get onto, but if Judd can take high-value colours with these other 2 reds, you won't need to worry about them too much. Just this black and the red above it required.
$67. 68.
So he's done what he had to do, which is, as I say, punish the
75.
unexpected error from Selby. He was looking very confident early on. So this is the first frame Mark Selby's lost this week.
$83.
Chance for Trump to make his 4th century
$84.
already of the tournament. The prize is up again this year, the £100,000 bonus for the first player to make 100 in a season. Trump, of course, got there in Sheffield at the World Championship, ended on 107, a new record.
90. 92.
Well, he's made 1,090 career centuries. He's about to add to that here, you feel.
95.
And it's good to see now that battle has been well and truly joined here. It's 1 frame all, and difficult to predict who could win a match like this. I think it's going to be a very close one.
99.
Well, this is the 7th frame Judd Trump has won this week, and it's his 4th century.
104.
Bit of a false start from him in frame 1, but he's remedied that immediately here in frame 2. So Judd Trump, with his 4th century of the tournament, levels up emphatically with Mark Selby at 1 each. Been a few before that, but there was a key miss. Mark Selby pounced, and then the opposite happened in frame 2. Selby missed red to right middle. Trump made 104 to level up. Best of 11 to reach the semi-finals of the Shanghai Masters. It's one of these events, I think, I mean, it's a huge event anyway, but the fact it's so early in the season, I think is in its favour. You know, we haven't had 6 or 7 events. This is the first real chance for the top players to sort of make a mark and get their season up and running. 2 years ago, Ronnie O'Sullivan won it and went on to win 5 titles. Last season, Trump won it. He won another 2 big titles as well.
Judd was trying to use the blue to block off the red that's possible to this left corner. As that cue ball travel far enough, it may not have done. So Mark Selby has a chance to knock this in. Very tricky pot though, you can see the distances involved. Beautiful cued again. Especially when you're considering the way he lost that previous frame and he missed the red to the right centre. He must have been disappointed because he had a chance to take a 2-0 lead there. But this is what the great players do. They put these disappointments to one side and focus on the task in hand so well.
Eight. Nine.
He's come a long way since his first trip to Shanghai for the China Open 2002, when he was only 18 and hadn't really travelled very much. And it's quite a famous story now. It's definitely true because I was there. He appeared in the hotel lobby at 1 in the morning trying to get a taxi down to the venue. And when he was asked why, he said, I'm playing at 2 o'clock. But of course he was playing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not in the middle of the night. He was so jet lagged, he didn't know where he was. But he's worked things out, it's fair to say, over the years. It's worth saying in that same event, though, you might think, oh, he's a bit green. He beat Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan.
24.
So, despite sort of not knowing where he was, he knew where he was once he got to the table.
25.
He has an angle here, Mark Selby, to go into the pack of reds, but when they're configured this way, they don't seem to split very well when you're on the black. It better go into from the blue. And that's exactly why Mark Selby has turned down that opportunity to go into them. They wouldn't have split too well, I don't think, from the black.
32.
Originally, Mark Selby came from a pool background and has had to work a lot on his snooker technique over the years. He used to be a little bit like Cliff Thorburn. The tip of his cue used to be, oh, at least 1.5 inches, 2 inches behind the cue ball.
Well, it's 5 reds, 5 blacks.
40. 41.
But the frame more important. They mentioned Cliff Thorburn. You immediately think of maximums.
perfectly for Mark
46.
Selby, because this is a lovely little group of reds to go into from a bulk colour, so I certainly wouldn't screw back for the blue here personally. I'll be playing for brown or green. Oh, he's missed the red, I don't believe it.
Mark Selby, 46.
Now, where's the cue ball finish? Did he play for the blue? Oh, we'll find out, but has he left the red? Don't think so. Well, it is cuttable. You can see that Mark Selby there did play for the blue from that red, which surprised me, and that's not a good kiss from cue ball to brown from Judd's point of view either. I don't think he'll be taking on a colour now.
Green ball. Judd Trump, 1.
Chance to cut this red into the corner pocket for Judd. Just wondering if there's a chance here of a potential plant into this right corner. Mark Selby's just had a look at a couple of the reds within that little group there. No, just the safety.
Enthusiastically applauded one at that. It's going to be some atmosphere tonight, isn't it, when Ding and Shao play, and of course Rose Sullivan as well against Karen Wilson.
This could be very difficult to get back to bulk from unless Mark Selby can see enough of the left-hand side of that red that's to the right of the pink. Found a tiny gap there with the cue ball. He's managed it. Shouldn't cause Judd too much difficulty though, and that yellow is in a really good spot to try and get the cue ball in behind.
Yeah, not the best from Trump, but of course a lot of that was down to Selby again getting that cue ball to the cushion. So 45 in front. was a big chance really to get in and take the frame.
I'd be impressed with that attempt. He was a long way off it. Chance here for Judd, although he's tied the black up with his previous safety shot, which won't help his cause here with the deficit that he faces. He's 45 points behind. That's quite a deficit when you consider the position of the balls.
One.
Well, he's on the brown here to the right corner. Now, there's a chance he could leave himself on the red just above the black in such a way as to pot it and remove that other red that's closest to the black to bring it into play. Oh, he's missed the brown. Too much eye on the positional cannon there, and he just took his eye off the pot. How many times do you see that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he just had to pot it, he would have done. But as you say, he was thinking ahead. So, Selby will be delighted. 44 to the good.
One.
So, there's been some key errors already. Of course, it was Selby in the last frame who missed that red to right middle. That cost him. Trump made a century. I think these matches sometimes... It is a lot about who you're playing, and both of these players know the talents of the other. This is a tough draw for both, just creating a little bit of additional tension. Couple more pots then, it should be 2-1 to Selby.
$12. 13.
Can hear the applause on the other table. Zhao Guodong has made a century there, 121.
18.
To lead Ali Carter 2-1. That's the 36th century of the tournament. The most we've ever had in the invitation version is 37. And there's still
19.
3.5 days to go.
Yeah.
Selby's one of these. He'll want to pot as many of these balls as he can. It's one of those sort of, from Trump's perspective, he's almost saying, oh, you want to start the next frame, do you? Well, you're going to have to wait. And that's what a lot of the great players have done. You know, Stephen Hendry wanted to pot every ball. Like a dagger through the heart it was for the opponent.
25.
Gave that pink, which he didn't need, as much focus as any other shot he's played in the frame.
31.
Eventually he has missed, but the damage done. Missed brown from Trump. One of the key errors in the frame. So Mark Selby back in front here with one to play before the interval. He leads Trump 2-1.
TNT Sports, powered by Canterbury.
I'd never met anyone like him. It was as if fate brought him to me to open up my world. And that's when I knew I was in love.
Oh, I didn't know you and Grandad met in Italy.
Oh no, we met the following year.
Gran!
Getting to know Gran before she was Gran. On the train, you can.
I've been Smokey the Squirrel for a few years now, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot. That's why I bank with Monzo. Their personalized pots help me save for the things I want. Not long now.
Organize your money with Monzo. Download your new favorite bank.
How do I make this?
Back in the day, if you wanted a picture of yourself, this was the only option. Be still! Forget this. Way easier. Same with shoes. You used to have to bend down and struggle. But there's an easier way with hands-free Skechers slip-ins. I just step in and go. No bending down, and I never have to touch my shoes. Step out the dark ages and step into Skechers slip-ins.
Behind every sport, there is a Sportage. The new Kia Sportage.
Kia, movement that inspires.
For the second time, Mark Selby a frame in front here. This is the last now before the mid-session break. He leads Judd Trump by 2 frames to 1, quarter-finals of the Shanghai Masters.
Once again, this similar long pot has been left for Judd Trump. Once again, he's overcut it. He'd be very displeased with some of these missed long pots, Judd. He expects to get a lot of them. Well, if the black pot's to the right corner, it could be worth taking this red on into the corner pocket. It's definitely potable, and Judd could play for the black from it. Oh, what a pot, but he's got too much action on the cue ball. Screwed straight in off. Very unfortunate. It was a wonderful pot on the red from Judd, which will give him confidence, but just unlucky there. Just misjudged the amount of backspin. Well, Selby having a look to see if the 2 reds just above the black could be made into a plant. I think they can be. Gentleman there behind Judd enjoyed that wonderful safety shot from Mark Selby, although I'm not entirely sure he intended to leave the cue ball 2 feet off the baulk cushion. Judd needs to be a little bit careful here. He could rest upon the reds just below the pink, but even so, he may leave a possible red on somewhere if he's not careful. That would have been a really good safety shot had the cue ball not just flicked the yellow. As it is, I think this red to the right corner is on for Mark Selby, but good cueing required. Right across that worst possible outcome, the cue ball ploughing into the pack of reds, but he hasn't left anything straightforward for Judd Trump at first glance. This cuttable red to the left corner, probably one I expect Judd to make, but there's no guarantee of position from it. If the red will pop past the green, that may be a more suitable alternative.
Got to be said, I mean, we don't have pot success stats, but they're not going to be that high, are they? There's been quite a few balls missed. I think, as I say, there's sort of dynamic here. They're each playing someone they respect highly, someone whose skills they know all about. Just adding sort of tension to the match. Trump, though, I mean, he made a century in frame 2, but aside from that, he has missed a lot. And against Selby, you've got to fight for openings. He had one there, but couldn't do anything with it.
I could see there. The perspective view from Hawkeye, there's only one red that Judd can see. Oh, what a pot. How many times do you see a player almost forced to take on a pot and knock them in because there's no other shot available? And to have potted a ball from so close to the baulk cushion at that pace was terrific cueing. He could have just tried to roll this in, leave the cue ball on the top cushion, but no. Try to do something with it, and he's got half a chance at the green here.
Four.
Well, when you consider some of the balls missed, 2 fantastic pots there in a row from Trump. Now looking to just get into ideal position to build up a nice break here.
5.
Well, 3 great shots in a row. Now look at the faces. This is the thing, I think, with any sport, and snooker's no different. When you see it up close, you realise how good these players are. You know, it's a very tough game. But we're watching some of the best there's ever been.
$12. 13.
Probably wanted to be straight on the black to screw back for the red. That's just to the right of it, but he can't play that now. Again, wants to be straight on this red to the left corner to run through for the black. He still may be able to.
20.
Yeah, well, straight
21.
enough, and this time he may be able to hold for the red just to the right of the black, but again, he may have just run through too far. He did run through too far. He is on the red to the right of the black, but that's no good from a positional point of view.
29.
It's a fight very hard here, but he's got another chance now to get rid of that red that's blocking the black into the left corner.
$36. 37.
Well, I said you have to fight for openings against Selby. Trump basically kicked the door down, didn't he? The red and then the green to get
44.
in. But we have seen the odd unexpected mistake in this match. He's just trying to really focus now on every shot.
45.
Well, this is the key shot coming up positionally, because there are a couple of loose reds he could play for. And he's decided to play for the outermost one into the left corner, played it beautifully. The red just to the right of the pink is also available, but
52.
it could be that Judd
53.
looked to go into the reds. Well, he won't be able to. He's very straight on the black, so there's a red just below the pink that will pot into the left centre, which he may have to play for next. He tried to force the black in for red into the right corner. Has he gone far enough?
60.
Well, he hadn't gone far enough for the open red, but there's a chance of a plant here. But there are 2 plants possible.
So just needs to find his way back to a red, and it should be 2-2. Mark Selby didn't do a lot wrong, really, did he? He seemed to have played a good safety. Judd Trump knocked that red in. Good green, good couple of early shots, and he's kept it going well. And it looks like parity has been achieved as they head to the interval. difference is, though, Trump is going to have won his 2 frames with big breaks, possibly 2 centuries. Mark Selby, his highest break, just 47.
73.
Well, can he keep this going?
80.
Red to far corner. You bet you can. Beautiful.
$88. 89.
Judd would love to be playing for the blue into the green pocket from this remaining red. I don't think he can, though, with the angle that he has on it, because getting onto the yellow afterwards will be very difficult now.
97.
I think he just wants to make the century, doesn't he? And then who knows what'll come on the colours. And he will make it if he knocks this pink in. So that's 5 for the week already.
103. 105.
Well, now, can he pot the green here? Maybe a little trick shot. No, he could see it. Well, it was a trick shot as well.
108.
An amazing break, really, because, you know, there were all sorts of errors before, but the fact is he's won his 2 frames with centuries. Misses that, but pretty dazzling stuff from Trump in that frame, 108. So fascinating match this, and nicely set up as the players go to the mid-session interval. Judd Trump has made 2 centuries, but they're level at 2-2. Here we go. So Mark Selby and Judd Trump locked together at 2-2. Well, it's been a very enthusiastic audience this week, and we're going to see later, of course, I'm sure, a full house for the evening session. But in terms of who they're going to see tomorrow in the semi-finals, it's still very much in the balance.
Hampered queuing over the yellow may prohibit Judd from attempting the red to the right corner. He's just checking to see if it's worthwhile taking on. I don't think so. course, with a superb placement of the cue ball there. It would appear that Mark Selby's completely snookered. And with that red that's finished near the left corner, no guarantee that he'll get this safe.
Foul. And miss. Judge Trump 4.
Good effort, beautiful judgment of the pace. Could be that Mark Selby could even clip the red on the left-hand side and go in off it, which is a bit of a nightmare. Cue ball can't possibly be in the right place there. The swerve would be too severe. Maybe closer to the correct position. Mark Selby will have a better idea when he attempts to swerve.
Yeah.看白球，往后面一点点是吧？ 回家。好了，谢谢。That's what Hugo gave us, but there will be 2 millimeters difference.
I think Mark Selby is suggesting that the swerve is easier now than it was previously.
Yeah, that's because from what I saw on the swerve, it was a bit tighter to the yellow. Yeah. So you have
the player will know because they played the shot. So it's worth listening to what he's saying. He's trying to make it harder for himself.
2 millimeter difference on the accuracy. So if you're thinking this way, yeah. I thought so. Yeah. To me, I thought it's a little bit closer to the yellow as well. Yeah. That was the accuracy on the reball, but for me, this one was a little bit closer to the yellow. Yeah. I did?
He said he didn't move it. And she said, yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
but very honest, isn't it? You know, I mean, he's tried to make this harder for himself. Well, he's tried to get it right, but, you know, it's harder than the initial replacement.
Foul.
Well,
enemies.
Getting another go, Mark.
Judge Trump 4.
Spare a thought for our referee, because this literally does have to be nigh on millimetre perfect for the shot to be exactly as it was.
Yeah, Judd.
Attempt number 3. I think Peggy Lee's a very good referee, actually. She's got a sort of proper authority, and that's what the players are looking for.
Well, that is worth a replay. Because I can't remember if I've ever seen Mark Selby make such a hash of a safety shot in all my life. Completely misjudged that one. The cue ball catching the jaws of the corner pocket. And how on earth has he managed to get away with that? Cue ball found the most unlikely of gaps and has finished safe. What a great reply from Judd Trump, though. Selby once again snookered. Can he rest upon the red that's closest to this top cushion? That's a rather inauspicious start to this fifth frame. Judd attempted to pot that red with a lot of check side on the cue ball. It made the pot very, very missable. But it could have finished worse. This red to the left corner is certainly potable for Mark Selby, but there's no guarantee of position from it.
Yeah, it's worth reiterating that Trump's had 2 centuries, because otherwise it's been quite stop-start, really. A few chances have gone begging. That was another one. It wasn't easy. Well, it's gone in. He's having a little bit of running, isn't he? Because that safety he butchered earlier, he got away with. And now he's missed that red and it's gone along the bulk cushion into the yellow pocket. He did raise his hand, but what I like about Selby, he doesn't sort of pretend to be mortified when he's had some luck, because no player is. Some of the sort of theatrics don't really make any sense. So just an acknowledgement and then try and win the frame off it.
7.
Mark Selby's task here will be to try and remove some of the reds that are close to the black, just to free the black spot area up somewhat.
Well,
it was a pretty decent pot on the red, but he's overrun for the blue. And as you can see, there are many loose reds, but they're all so close to one another. They're in each other's way, and getting onto a red from here is no easy task.
70.
Well, with reiterating, Selby yet to make a half-century break
23.
in this match. That could change here, though. And of course, this visit did start with that fluke.
$24.
Nicely played. Finally, this black
31.
in completely open play now. Just see the red
32.
closest to his bridge hand there would pot into the right corner, but he's rather straight on the black, so can screw back for red into the same pocket.
$39.
He'll need the extended rest here, but he's finished beautifully on this red. He can come around the back of the black to place into the same pocket as the red, and all of a sudden this looks like being a potential chance to win the frame.
Maybe the fluke was sort of karma for the honesty he showed earlier on when he was making that swerve from behind the yellow more difficult for himself. He didn't play in the Championship League, even though it is played in his home city of Leicester,
47.
but just fancied a bit more time off before the season started in earnest.
48.
Potting this red
55.
clears a par 4. Red at the back of those remaining 6 into the opposite corner, so the break can
56.
continue without any difficulty here, although he does have the angle to go into them if he wishes.
$63. $64.
That's a beautiful little cannon into the reds, and he only needs one of them to win the
71.
frame, but a real chance to edge closer to 900 career centuries. He's on at 897 as it stands.
72.
So not every fluke is significant, but fact is this is how he got in. He missed that red to the green pocket, it went into the yellow pocket. The rest has been all Selby.
79. 80.
I'm sure Judd will be sat in his chair thinking that Mark Selby had two flukes when he made that dreadful mistake with the safety shot, catching the jaws of the left-hand corner pocket. Somehow, Keeble finished right among the reds, but Judd Trump didn't have a pot to go for.
87.
Yeah, it was, like you say, a really un-Selby-like error, but got away with it.
88.
Shanghai Masters, an invitation event since 2018.
95.
In which there were 37 centuries made. There were 37 the year after,
96.
then 35, then 36. It's been very standardised, but Selby makes one here. Is he surely going to... It'll be the 38th of this one, the most we've seen, and there's plenty more to come, clearly, with the quality of players we've got left in the tournament.
103. 104. 110. 112. 115.
Truth is, luck does play a part. I mean, we mentioned Cliff Thorburn earlier, famously, that maximum at the Crucible in '83 that we still remember and talk about. That began with a fluke. It's what you do with it when it comes your way, because there'll be many times where you don't get it.
124. 130.
So for Mark Selby, career century number 898. A total clearance of 137. He raises his hand because it started with a fluke. He didn't look too sorry making the break though, did he? And why should he be? He leads Judd Trump by 3 frames to 2. Mark Selby's just made a 137 total clearance to take the lead against Judd Trump, who himself has had 2 centuries in the match. 3-2 Selby, best of 11 to reach the semi-finals of this Shanghai Masters.
Well, since the interval, Judd looks a little bit out of sorts. I just wonder, there's never been more than a frame between them so far, but the way Mark Selby won that last frame suggests to me that there's a chance that he could push on here a little bit. Is he taking this red on? My goodness, it's a very tough pot from such an acute angle. If he holds for the black, well, that red next to the black could be left available if this doesn't go in. No, took it on to the yellow pocket instead. Perfectly safe. So close from Judd. Didn't immediately see that that shot was worth taking on, but it was. You can see where the cue ball was. It was perfectly safe, but that red has just remained near the pocket for Mark Selby. They just haven't gone the way of Judd Trump in the second part of the match so far.
Yeah, and what's changed, of course, is Selby's now scoring. So, a bit of concern in the Trump camp, maybe. We saw yesterday Zhao Tong and Chris Wakelin, as we see the replay here. That was 2-2 at the interval, and then Zhao Tong pulled away very nicely to win 6-2 to set up that big match tonight with Ding.
Five. 6. 10.
I don't think he's on anything, is he? I don't think the cue ball's run down the table far enough. You can see that it hasn't, but there's a couple of reds that could be made into a plant, but Mark Selby not tempted to take an undue risk.
Selby 10.
Yes, not least because at the moment he may feel he's got Trump where he wants him. He doesn't want to just hand easy chances. He's not Selby's way anyway, of course. Keeping Trump firmly on the back foot here.
Foul. And miss. Marcel before.
Peggy Lee, our referee, just making sure. She's having a look here to see if Judd can see a red fall in the face, because if he can, and he doesn't escape from this, well, it's not a snooker, but if he doesn't contact a red this second time, he can be warned. So our referee's just having a look here to see if Judd can actually make contact with a red full ball, one of the reds in the pack there.
Peggy Lee, the referee, just trying to ascertain whether this is touching or not, and a shake of the head. Looks like a misjudgment, that. It's the one red he was trying not to leave Trump a shot at.
Such a great amount of backspin on the cue ball there without having to play this with any great pace. He managed to get the cue ball around the back of the black. And when you consider the beginning to this second part of the match after the interval from Judd, he hasn't really done much. He's made a few mistakes and he hasn't had much of an opportunity, so that was a superb pot to get in with.
Four. Five.
As I say, they're quite an error really from Selby. He was so determined not to leave that red on, but that's exactly what happened. I say leave it on, it still needed potting. Seems he's on this red by the walk.
12.
Judd took a bit of a chance there. He tried to cannon a red into his pottle position. He could have probably avoided the cannon and left himself a good angle on the black to go into the pack, which I don't think he can do now. He can certainly leave a longish red into either the yellow pocket or the green pocket. But in terms of going into the pack or leaving an easy next red, I don't think that's a possibility with the angle he has on the black. Available. I wasn't sure it was. I don't think Judd had played for the pink. But it was a superbly judged cannon. So the break continues and he's nicely on this next red to the left corner. He can play for the black or the blue from this.
19. 20. 27. 28.
Well, the problem was really the positional shot before that one. He didn't land on the red ideally, couldn't play for the black. So needs to find a good yellow here with the rest, and this is not a straightforward pot by any means. Well played.
He didn't sort of build that up to being a big shot, even though it was. He just sort of got down and played it as if it was always part of the plan. Anyway, he continues. It's been hard work for Trump just to get in, really, since the interval, so we're determined now to
31.
make this chance pay. If you're just joining us, he's had 2 centuries in the match. Just sat out Mark Selby 137 though.
$38. 39.
Is he straight enough on the pink to hold for the loose red, which will be the last of the loose reds available to Judd? I think he's okay. But he's let that cue ball just run through a little further than intended. So again, he's going to have to work hard here for position to a colour.
45. 46.
And that's not great either. He's on the pink, yes, but he's probably going to have to take the cue ball in and out of bulk here if he wants to get position on his next red, because the cue ball is going to be running away from the reds if he plays it plain ball. This is pretty much atypical of a Judd Trump break, isn't it? Cue ball having to travel all around the place, and that was a great positional shot. But he's missed the red. Oh dear, dear, dear.
Judd Trump, 52.
Playing far from safe, and Mark Selby coming to the table with a chance to really inflict a body blow here on Judd Trump.
Yeah, when you consider how well he negotiated the cue ball around the table to get on the red, it was a big surprise that he missed it.
1.
Feels like the biggest moment of the match so far, this.
Selby has a chance here in potting this red to bring the other 3 reds into play. What he'd love to be able to do is just glance them and run through off them for the black. Not sure he's straight enough on the red to play that. We'll find out. Oh, that's a cleverly played cannon, using the reds as a shell to deflect the cue ball up for the pink, and all of a sudden in that one shot, Mark Selby has to be considered now favourite to take this 6th frame.
Yes, and he made the century off the fluke in the last frame, but this won't be about fortune. It'll be about Judd Trump's very unexpected miss, having played such a good positional shot around the houses.
$15. 16.
Oh, he could have done with being a little straighter on this red, but he's able to get such amount of backspin into the cue ball. Some players would have really struggled to hold the cue ball there for the pink, but not Mark Selby.
$30. 31. 34. 36.
Green, brown, blue and pink still required.
$39.
Yes, for all the centuries we see, and we see plenty, of course. These are the frames that really do make the difference. Trump made a good clearance against Neil Robertson, but turned the tide in his favour.
43.
But it looks like it's going to happen to him here.
$48.
The disappointment of Trump is he played a really good shot to get on the red and then missed it to this pocket. Mark Selby stepped in, and this is to lead 4-2. The minute he got the reds into play, it just didn't look in any doubt. Mark Selby demonstrating his trademark steal to steal the frame. 4-2. He needs 2 more for victory. Plus. Someone running to their seat there. They don't want to miss any of the action here between Judd Trump and Mark Selby. And Selby, of course, has just made that killer clearance to move for the first time 2 frames in front at 4-2. So this really is a big frame for Trump to just try and stay in touch.
Oh, you just don't see Mark Selby commit a safety error like that very often. Focused on the cue ball, expected the red to run past the middle pocket, but it hasn't. And it's imperative now that Judd will win this frame just to keep some pressure on Mark Selby. If Mark Selby to win this frame as well and go within a frame of victory at 5-2, well, there wouldn't be a lot of pressure on him at that particular point. He's had a couple of chances, Judd, but Just seems to have lost his focus and concentration since the interval a little bit.
6.
As we said though, Mark Selby's benefited from a good run of the ball on occasions. Helped to win him the frame before last.
7.
Particularly pleased with that positional shot. He looks to be rather straight on this red. Can still play for the black, but it's not as straightforward as it could have been.
15.
Judd didn't expect to catch one of the reds so thickly there and running through for the black. This is very awkward now.
Very good black, wasn't it, considering what happened in the last frame and the position in the match.
31.
So Trump knows he can't afford any errors this time. We saw what happened in the last frame when he missed a red. He didn't get another shot. Golden chance, you got to say, to pull one back.
$38. 39. 45. 46.
Getting rid of the red that was blocking the blue into the centre pocket, so that makes life a lot easier from Judd. He's looking good now.
Yeah, of course, this is part of the challenge of top-level snooker, sort of shrugging off
51.
what happened in the last frame. You can only look forward. Not everyone manages it, though, we know that.
52.
Judd Trump's won so many titles, of course, last few years, and they haven't all been straightforward, far from it. There's been moments where he's had to dig in Saudi last year. He was 4-0 down in the first round to Wu Yiza, best of 9.
58.
Went on, of course, to win the whole thing on the last black against Mark Williams.
59.
Oh, no. Just needed to get on the red, and it was his frame.
Why, he was up like a shot there. Was it a poor contact, or did he just not get the amount of backspin
66.
required to come past those two reds? He's virtually home and hosed in this frame, but there are 75 points still remaining. He still needs a red in any colour, and it won't come from here.
Judd Trump, 66.
Judd certainly won't want to play a safety shot off the red nearest that right side cushion, but he may have to. There's no easy path back to baulk otherwise. Is there a chance that he could even cross double that red that's near the right side cushion? Because if he does attempt it, he can get the cue ball behind the green. Sometimes you just have to think, well, there's another red safe on a cushion. I may have to just bring one of the awkward reds into play because you don't want to compromise your chances of playing a good safety shot.
Well, he took a somewhat precarious route back to baulk, but he found his way through. But from Selby's perspective, this frame looked like it had gone. There is some hope for him.
Playing that with a lot of side spin, which is basically mini swerve, and he's just completely misjudged the path of the cue ball there, and he's actually ended up bringing that awkward red into play, and he's left it. Big chance this for Mark Selby. One good pot here, and although there'll be plenty of work to do to win the frame, he can certainly get right back into it.
One.
With that red that's just to the left of the pink, the one that's
8.
nearest to the pink, to the left of it, Mark Selby could leave an angle to bring into play the red that's on the cushion rail, knowing that he would be on that red. Can't do it here, but I mean, there are 3 reds in open play. There's only one slightly awkward red. So if I were Judd Trump, I'd be sitting very uneasily in my chair right now. Oh, that's worked out okay.
16. 19.
Couldn't really leave himself any better on this red with the angle on the yellow, but I still expect him to knock this in.
20.
Now, can he play this black and cannon the red off the cushion and leave himself on the other one? I think he can.
$27. $28.
He could force the black in to cannon the red off the cushion, but I think I'd be happy leaving a double on that red. It's easier somehow. And if there is such a thing as an easy double, this is it.
And let's be honest, he is one of the better doublers. Maybe that bull background helps in that regard.
35.
Trump pinning his hopes on him not getting the red. Well, he's got it, but look at the cue ball.
36.
And he needs a colour, Dave. He's got to pot a colour, otherwise he needs a snooker. He's still 31 behind, so he'll have to take the pink on. But if he does, he can get onto the yellow from it.
Yeah, what a dramatic moment this is. Again, Trump's hopes hanging, you feel now, on this shot. In the frame, maybe in the whole match. Peggy Lee trying to quieten people down. Not to be. Trump relieved. And
Well, that was 36.
with snookers required, he's on the yellow anyway. Well, we'll see in the fullness of time how significant that is. You know, Selby might win 6-3, but if he loses the match, that certainly will feel significant.
Five. Nine.
So,
14.
lightning didn't strike twice. Trump didn't succumb to another counter clearance as happened in the previous frame. He's still very much in this match.
20. On the frame. Tom.
Taking it out on the pink. But anyway, he's won the frame. And there's only one in it. Mark Selby had the chance. Couldn't take it this time. Trump relieved. He trails 4-3.
From 8. Mark Selby to break.
Well, there have been errors in this match, but it's been thoroughly compelling. And another dramatic frame there, this time won by Judd Trump. Mark Selby not able this time to complete the clearance. He doubled the last red, but didn't finish on a colour nicely. Had to take the pink on because he needed the points and missed it, and that was that. So 4-3 in this race to 6.
One.
Well, just missed a few long reds similar to that one during the course of this match, but he's beginning to knock them in when it matters most. Not the worst cannon by any means on the brown. Oh, he's missed it. He's caught the near jaw.
Judd Trump. 1.
Well, did Judd feel that that brown just rolled off a fraction? played for the red above the black, which was ideal because if he was straight on it, he could run through the black into the right corner. If he's high on it, as he is here, he could stun into the red next to the black and knock it out the way.
7.
It's going to be 5-2 to Zhang against Ali Carter, so from 2-2. He's made his move there, he won a black ball frame, he made a century, and he's on a break of 77 with a chance for another one. He's had 7 in the tournament, Zhang Dong. And we're not in the semi-finals yet, so incredible performance from him.
$23.
Well, Mark Selby seems somewhat dismayed at the angle that he's left himself with here on the black, but the pink is another possible option. Well, with the brown over the green pocket, here's Mark Selby's opportunity in potting this red to screw into the pack and open a few more into play. Knowing that he's a certainty, or he'd think it'd be a certainty to be on the brown.
29.
Got to keep that toe on the floor. So he's at full stretch here.
This looks to be really awkward, actually. The way these reds have just opened up, they're all blocking each other, so he needs a really precise positional shot here, Mark Selby. Oh, that's gone all wrong. Completely misjudged the path of the cue ball there.
35.
Yeah, another unexpected error. Just to say, Zhang Dong has made the century next door, so he's now had 8 in the tournament, 3 in that match, and he leads Ali Carter 5-2.
Selby, 35.
Valiant attempt to get the cue ball in behind the yellow, just an inch or two away, but in spite of that, there is a pot on for Judd Trump into this right corner. Whenever the colours are configured in bulk the way they are here, there's always a high probability that somebody like Mark Selby will put you in trouble. Chance for Mark Selby to get the cue ball in behind the pink, possibly. He may also tie the black up a little more as well in doing so. Just a fraction out there, Mark Selby. Now I wonder if Judd will be tempted to take this red on. 4-3 behind, 34 behind. It's a chance to get in. No, exercising patience and caution.
他保持安静好吗？我们这边都能听到，保持安静。
Bottom line is this frame's going to take some sorting out, but of course Selby's 34 in front, so that's in his favour. But Red's along that top cushion will need developing. Well, this time Trump has caught them too thick, so this is an opportunity, and actually Reds have now come into play. As I say, Selby in front in the frame. But a long way from the pot.
I think both players recognise the importance of this frame, don't they? 5-3 Selby or 4-all is a big, big difference. Now will Judd have the courage to take on this red and cannon into all the others and try and bring a few into play, because he knows that brown should be available to him no matter what. Well, it was a risk. And he had to contort himself rather awkwardly there over the green and the pink to play the red. And it could cost him dearly now.
One.
Looks as though the black may pot into the left corner. If it does, things will become even more straightforward here for Mark Selby.
6. Seven.
Expected a much fuller contact on that red, and because he just glanced off it,
14.
he's left himself a very tricky cut back along this top cushion now.
Yeah, it's been one of those tough frames that Mark Selby seems to win plenty of. Just chipping away and certainly keeping his head, keeping his patience. He made mistakes himself, but edging closer to a 5-3 lead.
Twenty. Going
to need another red after the black, and Judd Trump will have to win the last 3 frames to continue his title defence here in Shanghai. As I say, still needs a red, even though he's holding the cards in the frame where the other reds are.
28.
Nicely done. So Mark Selby has toughed through this 8th frame, and he's only one away now from the semi-finals here in Shanghai. Just seems ready to play any sort of frame. We've seen him make a total clearance in this match, but when it gets a bit scrappy and dragged out, his concentration just seems 100%.
$43. Down ball. $47. $53. 54. $59. 61. 68.
So Mark Selby, in the end, has played a good frame. He did have that chance spurned earlier, but this one, no mistake. What does Judd Trump have left? We know, of course, he can beat anyone from 5-3 down, but he's going to have to cut out all errors now, you feel. Because Mark Selby is only one from the winning line. The 4 times world champion leads the world #1 here in Shanghai, 5-3. So Judd Trump, the defending Shanghai Masters champion, no one got near him last year. He dominated every match he played, but he's in trouble 12 months on. He's 5-3 down to Mark Selby, who needs one more frame to reach the semi-finals here. On the other table, Ali Carter, for the second day running, he's trying to win from 5-2 down. He did so yesterday against Mark Williams. He was trailing Zhao Guodong 5-2. He's just won the next frame, though, so 5-3.
That was a definite chance for Mark Selby to get in this 9th frame, the one he needs for victory. Judd knows now that any mistake could easily be his last, so he needs to be very, very careful now. The red that's near the left-hand centre pocket may look potable on your screens, but I'm virtually certain that it isn't. His middle pockets are cut very much on the strict side. There won't be much of a pocket opening there at all.
Like a re-rack? Re-rack? Okay.
Well, with the red near the right corner, a stalemate was possibly ensuing, so they've decided on a re-rack. And it was decided pretty quickly. Peggy Lee then will set them up again. The match at the World Championship, wasn't there? Mark Williams and the same for 5. They had a lot of re-racks there. I think it was 3 in one frame at one point. Meanwhile, Peggy just laying down the law to somebody there. Maybe a photographer, they sometimes sit at that end, and obviously a lot of them will not have photographed snooker before. So, frame 9, for the second time, is going to start after the re-rack. Selby 5-3 up on Trump.
Frame 9, Judd Trump break.
Judd Trump, the defending Shanghai Masters champion, in a spot of bother here, needing to win the last 3 frames if he is to advance to the semi-finals. key frame still feels like that 6th one, where Trump was in front, looking good for 3-3, and Mark Selby pounced on an error to clear up with 54 to get to 4-2. But that is also an error.
Chance to go into the pack of reds, should he wish to. Wow, he's played that wonderfully well, but is he on anything? Well, he's got one over the left corner, and that's about all. And I'm not sure the black's available into the right corner, so he's been a bit unfortunate on the whole there, Judd Trump. He's looking at the plant here, and that's because the black is available into the left corner. And it'd be easy to get onto if he were to risk the plant, but this red that's over the left corner is a problem for Judd, being left-handed. I don't think he can reach it without the rest, and that's another problem. He was very unlucky there, Judd. He'll obviously wish he'd taken on the risky plant now, but it was a risk, and had he have missed it, it could have been end of match very easily. So at least he's at the table, even though he'll have to play his safety now.
Trump 7.
Remember, this is the aperitif to the main course later, which will be Ding Junhui and Zhang Xingtong. A big occasion here in China. Karen Wilson and Ronnie O'Sullivan as well on the night session. 12:30 UK time. We'll have both matches with commentary.
You can see there in the foreground the two reds are close to being a plant, but from where the cue ball is you'd never risk it. But it's just taking this red on to screw back towards the bulk colours. Long way away, but the cue ball looks pretty good to me.
Ball's running around the table. You weren't sure if you were going to get away with that. He hasn't. So Trump, chance number 2 in this frame. All sorts of kisses, and as I say, he's trying to follow the cue ball, follow the reds. He's left one on, is the bottom line.
1.
Meanwhile, Ali Carter is going to be just 5-4 down. It was 5-2 as it was yesterday against Mark Williams. Zhang Guodong still a frame from victory there.
Yeah, Ali Carter pulling 2 frames back in no time at all, and Judd Trump could do something similar here. The one red he wants to get out of the way as soon as he can, I suppose, would be the red over the left corner that's blocking the black. But the problem is you don't want to take a risk and sacrifice position to a colour by playing for that red just now. He'll have to pick his moment to do so. Not the time to be short of pace for the blue, but it could give Judd the opportunity to leave a gap through to that red over the left-hand corner here, possibly. Oh, well. I think the blue will just about go on its spot. But is this red too thin to hold for the pink, perhaps?
18. 19.
Oh, he did the best that he could, but the problem is, Judd being left-handed, he certainly can't cut the pink in without the rest, so it's the thin blue. Again, he's just running out of position more and more.
Yeah, I mean, that frame I mentioned that he lost the 6th frame, of course, he as you say, sort of lost ideal position, played a great shot to get on the red actually to this pocket and then missed it. That's when his troubles began really today. But there's still time to turn it round. These best of 11s, they're long matches really. Obviously played in a single session. There's time, we saw yesterday with Carter and maybe today as well, there's time for things to turn round. You know, the best of 19 semi-finals obviously going to be played over 2 sessions, so there's going to be time in between
32.
the players to reset. You don't get that in a best of 11, apart from the interval after the 4th frame.
Well, Judd has pretty much got rid of all the loose reds that were potable. Now may be the chance to play for that red over the left corner, get that out the way. That brings the black into play then. But he just needs to play one decent positional shot now from this red, and then he'll be back in business.
38. 39.
Oh, by Judd's standards, that's a very poor positional shot that he's played there. Just had to avoid the cannon on that red and he'd have been fine, but he can still drop the pink and he'll be on a red, the one that's just above the black, but there's a lot of pressure on this pink. If he misses it, oh, Selby will be in. Oh, beautifully cued.
Yes, for all that sometimes position isn't absolutely A1 as a potter. There's been a few better over the years, and he can recover, and he has done.
46.
So he's looking for one more red after this pink, and it should be 5-4. Different sort of match to the one with Neil Robertson, where there were a lot of big breaks and it was very open. This has been
52.
times a little scrappier. crowd, though, look like they're going to see at least one more frame, and the Trump fans, of course, hoping for 2 more.
$59. 60.
The black is in an ideal spot from Judd's point of view. It gives him the opportunity to bring the reds into play that are near the cushion.
67. $74. $75.
So, despite being on the back foot for long periods, he has a chance to make a 3rd century today.
$80. 81.
And you feel this is how, if he's going to win the match, it's going to happen. It's going to be with breaks rather than sort of getting drawn into tactical stuff.
88. 90. 93. 97.
So, of course, it's Trump's first tournament of the season, and this already for his 6th century of the campaign. A welcome one, clearly, for Judd Trump. It keeps him very much in this match. He'll be hoping for more of the same as he attempts to force a decider. He reduces Mark Selby's lead to 5-4. So we continue for at least one more frame. Judd Trump and his supporters hoping, of course, for 2. He's just made his 3rd century, but trails 5-4. It's been a match that's had high quality snooker. It's also had unexpected errors, some big breaks, the odd dramatic moment, really what you want in a match, all told. And a close finish in prospect.
Well, the pot was very difficult trying to screw back for a bolt colour, but that's incredible. The pace that that red was carrying when it cannoned into the brown. Just have a look at this. It comes off the bolt cushion at great pace, cannons a brown full on. It slows it right down and just look where it stopped. Very unlucky from Judd's point of view that the red finished there.
One.
So first chance in frame 10 for Mark Selby. he had a good season, didn't he? I mean, he won 2 ranking events in the Championship League. He was runner-up in the Tour Championship. But in the real established majors, he has struggled a little bit in recent times. He's not been in the semis of the Masters for 11 years. He's lost first round at the Crucible 2 years running for the first time in his career. And it's been a good while since he really threatened at the UK Championship as well. So I'm sure that's something that we're looking to put right this season. But the great thing now is we have so many big tournaments. This is one of them, isn't it? 210,000 the winner, big first prize in a big city. They're off to Saudi shortly to contest a $500,000 first prize, then Wuhan, another big ranking event. So the circuit has expanded and there's plenty of opportunity to be lifting trophies.
The
shot that Mark Selby just played there, but cannoning that red away from the black spot area has made life a lot easier.
Yes, I mean, we can't speak for Judd Trump. He may reflect on some bad running in this match, and there has been. I mean, the 137 Selby made started with the fluke. On another day, he doesn't stick that red, but there's one safe place for the red in the pocket, and he didn't get close to the pot, you got to say, Trump.
22.
So it could have finished anywhere. It's given Selby this opening.
$27. $28.
Just that very nicely. You'd be hoping that the top red of that group will pot into the right corner, but I don't think it does. But there is another one at the bottom of that little group of reds that will pot into the right corner. Maybe a little bit of adrenaline there. He's overrun that by a few inches, so he can still run through for the black. But if he does run through for the black, will the cue ball stop against this loose red at the back of the main bunch? So instead of that, he's screwing off them instead. Gives him a better chance of being on a colour.
34.
It's not ideal, but I don't think he'll be too disappointed with the position on the blue.
Well, he's given himself every chance, hasn't he? He's got the pieces into play here. So can he supply the winning visit? Ali Carter coming back looking good for 5 all next door. Incredible. Second day running. Last time Selby beat Trump on the World Snooker Tour was here 2 years ago in this round. 6-1, more comfortably in the quarterfinals.
$40.
Well, surely Mark Selby can go on and win frame a match from here.
47.
This is a difficult ball on the table that will worry him.
48.
Something I have noticed with Mark Selby, that he's tried to keep his tempo and not become bogged down in safety play. There has been a couple of times when we've witnessed long protracted safety exchanges, but Mark Selby's tried to always keep his, or maintain a good tempo. Maybe it's something he's decided to work on for this season, just upping his speed of play just a fraction.
56.
Yeah, there's been no prevarication at all about this break, has there? He's just got on with it. And he's not far away now from wrapping up victory. 63 the lead with this black. So another red and a colour should see him home. And in the end, he only needed one chance. Judd Trump took that red on, didn't get close to it, left an easy pot, but of course the rest of the break
64.
has not been straightforward. But Mark Selby has this blue now, and it looks like Judd Trump's title defence is over in the quarterfinals. Yeah, really good break, and as Dominic said, he didn't hang around, he was positive, and Trump
69.
knows that his race is run.
$70.
Judd Trump's made 3 centuries in the match. It's not like he's played badly. It's just been the odd mistake. And we go back to frame 6, where he played a great recovery shot to land on a red. He had to go all around the table.
75.
Landed on the red, didn't pot it. Mark Selby cleared up. That was a definite big moment. Just gave him that breathing space at 4-2.
76.
And he's managed to hold Trump off thereafter. Well, he's missed the black, but he's won the match. That's the important thing, a winning contribution of 76. So Judd Trump's Shanghai Masters title defence comes to an end in the quarterfinals, and it is the 2011 champion in Shanghai, Mark Selby, who puts himself through to the last 4, a winner 6-4.